to start the program, this man has been on our program before. We consider him a family member, Dr. Eddie M. Connor Jr. He is an author, empowerment speaker, college professor, mentor, political advisor, teacher, and radio TV correspondent, and we're glad to have him here on the Focus Forum, Mr. Dr. Eddie Connor Jr. Welcome to the program.
Hey, I'm so glad to be able to be on the show. If you introducing me like that, I need to take you everywhere I'm speaking then. You got two dynamic divas that I'm, on the studio with, and so divinely inspired, victorious, accomplished sisters. So shout out to you.
All right.
Ariel and Tracy.
And we appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
Definitely. So, June is Men's Health Month. And I know, Dr. Eddie, when you've been on the program before, you're so forthcoming all the time and transparent, but you've certainly shared your own personal story of health challenges and overcoming cancer. Talk to us about this importance of, certainly of you being on the program today, but about spreading some news about Men's Health Month.
Absolutely, and of course, we definitely have to shout out all the fathers.
Yeah.
Salute, really, to the men who strengthen their families and uplift their communities, and the difference between being a male and a man. Male is someone who operates in their gender, but a man is someone who operates in their God-given gift through responsibility. And really, there's no respectability without responsibility. Can't put no respect on your name, really, without it.
You really can't. And let's stop trying to. It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, I think it's really important, significant that us as men begin to recognize signs and really visit the doctor for checkups and really just spread the whole aspect of awareness.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, we shy away from that. We think it's just something that's not masculine, or we think, we don't want to hear the bad result, and we get negative and cynical, and I was like that myself. At the age of 15, when I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer.
Wow.
I was really denying the signs that I had, and that was the chest pains, it was a deep cough, it was really the pain that I didn't really want to acknowledge. And it almost wound up to where I lost my life because I refused to visit the doctor, and I refused to see what was going on inside of me, because oftentimes, we have this whole aspect, and really we see society gives us no room for sensitivity or vulnerability, in the framework is masculinity, and we often see it as femininity. So 70% of the diseases that Black people die from are preventable.
Yeah.
And to go through my whole aspect of overcoming cancer and really become real with myself about some health issues and challenges is when I was able to remedy the malady.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us here on the Focus Forum, the voice you hear, you've heard before on the program, Dr. Eddie Connor Jr. If you'd like to know more about Dr. Eddie, as always, you can jump on his website at Eddie Connor, that's CONNOR.com. Having him on the program is always so refreshing. He's an author, empowerment speaker, college professor, mentor, political advisor, teacher, and of course a radio TV correspondent. And to have him here on the radio with us this morning is a blessing. He's sharing his own challenge that he had with overcoming cancer. Your ears are not deceiving you. He is well and healthy and on this program. This is Men's Health Month, but we're talking about just some of the disparities as it pertains to health in our community. A lot of times, and Eddie, you alluded to this, you open the door, I'm walking in. Men, I don't know what it is. I know y'all strong and stealth like trees. We get it. But going to the doctor can sometimes be a challenge. I will say this. I'm going to do a shameless plug for my hubby, who that brother would go to the doctor with a hangnail, but he's not typical. And he just dislocated his shoulder just this past week and was right off to the doctor. But that's not necessarily typical. A lot of times men are like, you know what? I'm just going to fight through it. I'll be fine. Whatever it is, I'll get over it.
And I just can't understand that.
Yeah,
even my boyfriend, he's like, oh, I got some chest pains, but let me get some Tums, or let me get something. And I'm like, but it's like, seriously, he'll try to grab anything.
Yeah.
So call your grandma and ask if she can tell me what to do for it. Give me a home remedy. Your grandma knows something. It's like, men, go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
You have to.
There are certain things on the list you shouldn't be trying to, self-medicate. Chest pains?
Yeah.
No, Tums. pounds? No.
No, that don't even go together. But
It really doesn't. But Dr. Eddie, speak to that. What do you think it is? I know, you like you said, you don't want to show that vulnerability, but come on now. Yeah.
Yeah, you're so right. And just two different sides to, both of you.
Right.
We'll go and visit the doctor.
Yes.
We'll die away.
Right.
Stay far away. And,
Yeah.
really you have to understand that our health is our true wealth.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think it's really just how society is. We often hear that we have to be a Superman. You fall off a bike when you're 4 and you say, stop crying, you be a man.
Right, right.
I'm not 40 yet.
Right.
already,
And so oftentimes we have this Superman simplex, this Superman syndrome. And oftentimes we wear that S on our chest, but really sometimes that S on our chest really means that we're struggling. And
Wow.
until we take the cape off and recognize our humanity, but also our mortality, like Clark Kent, we can never really help others if we don't first help ourselves.
Right.
It's Sunday, so I'm going to go old school Sunday for you.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Saying to him right now.
Yeah.
Stress man said, you need a man with sensitivity, a man like me. The fact of the matter is we have to understand that, as I alluded to before, the sensitivity and the vulnerability is not femininity, it's true masculinity.
It really is.
We're able to look within ourselves and understand, hey, I need some help. I need you. I need to talk to somebody.
Right.
I need to just get out of my own aspect of me being so machismo, macho, and this, that, and the other. And I really need to go to the doctor. I need to check on myself.
Right.
I need to eat right. I need to understand that I can't have this grind mentality, get rich or die trying.
Right. Ooh, yes.
Because oftentimes heart disease is the #1 killer of all Americans.
Yeah.
Creed of colors. So
It's so true.
we have to take the time to invest in ourselves. That's with our health.
Absolutely. And it's so poignant that you say, Dr. Eddie, your health is your wealth. It really is. I know of at least 2 wealthy people who are struggling with an illness, one terminal, and have said all the money that I have cannot buy me a cure to this ailment. I would give up all this money to save my health. So if you are having a challenge with your health and you feel like money is going to be in front of that, no, you got to be well in here, to enjoy the money. So, that is so true. And like you said, heart disease, stress. I mean,
stress is
I can relate to that stress. I mean, within the past year, I've had elevated blood pressure, and every time I go into that doctor, she says, Tracy, you have got to reduce your stress level. Period. I mean, really. So I understand that. Let's talk about, Dr. Eddie, the importance of men, recognizing the signs, getting to the doctor for these checkups. I don't know, that checkup date is an ominous date on the calendar, for a lot of men and women.
Yeah, it is.
What is that about?
It's really about you being internally receptive to just what's going on inside your body, and really doing some. The internet and all of this information is out there, especially on eating right, on exercise, on stress and well-being of life. And I think it's especially, we put so much emphasis, especially on Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, there's diagrams and women can check themselves, and men need to also be able to. I think we got to promote that. Men's health just as much as and ardently as we promote breast cancer awareness. Or
I agree.
Women's Health Month and things of that nature. I think it's very important that we really just begin to have these powerful conversations, because we're losing too many men, especially think about prostate cancer, and so many other things, because it's so hidden and we don't necessarily want to talk about that. Oftentimes, especially you think about health and well-being. Too many times we're living to eat rather than eating to live.
Wow, that's so true.
We got to get our proper rest. We got to exercise. We got to eat healthy. We got to think wealthy. We also have to surround ourselves with people who will bless us and not stress us.
Yes.
So our circle.
That's a big one.
Significant and important. And as I alluded to before, 70% of the diseases in our community that Black people die from are preventable. And oftentimes the root of that word disease is dis-ease.
Yeah.
Really we're uneasy about mentally will ultimately manifest itself physically in our body. And a lot of us are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Because we're living in communities that are war zones.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're living in communities that you can't, it's 10 liquor stores to every supermarket.
You better come on in here and preach. That is so true.
These communities that are oftentimes just a receptacle for obesity and early death.
Yeah.
You've got McDonald's, Burger King, liquor store, gas station, you know.
Yeah.
Where can I eat to be able to sustain my body and my health and my wellness and my well-being?
Right.
There's so many different parameters and ramifications that we really need to look at from various angles.
Yeah, definitely. Dr. Eddie M. Conner Jr. is our guest for this first segment on the Focus Forum. On this Father's Day, again, a big, big, big happy Father's Day to all of the fathers who are listening. Dr. Conner is an author, empowerment speaker, college professor, mentor, political advisor, and teacher. And again, we're speaking on Men's Health Month. Men,
Yes.
fathers, give yourself a great gift today. Make a decision that if you have not had a checkup, if you can't remember the last time you walked into a doctor's office, make this the day that you are going to go and just have a full-on checkup.
Just a checkup.
Just do it.
Just get a regular
Just do
checkup.
it.
Yeah.
And a lot of, Dr. Eddie, you talked about the fact that sometimes we don't want to go to the doctor because we don't want to hear a negative outcome. Just because you sit at the house and worry about it and if I don't walk in there, then nobody will tell me it's not real to me.
But
No,
it's
it is
still going
real.
on.
It's still there. You will still ultimately need to be treated in some capacity. Why don't you get in front of it to where you do have the control before things get out of control? And I know, when we're talking about stress and what you said, Dr. Eddie, about disease, that is so true. A lot of times it's not always what you're eating. It is what's eating you from the inside out. That is so, so true. And folks need to get that as well. You definitely need to put down them 8 pieces of pound cake and fried chicken. And I can speak on that because I love some pound cake and I love fried chicken. That's the first thing I'm looking for when I walk into the cookout or the dinner. I'm like, did somebody make a pound cake? I don't know what's up with that, but did you make some fried chicken? Okay. All y'all got is this grilled chicken. I'm the same way, but having to get that under control is so important. Promoting health awareness in the community, Dr. Eddie, I know you're passionate about that. Talk about that for a moment.
Absolutely. I've teamed up with the American Cancer Society, especially in many other health organizations. They do their Relay for Life in the community. And wherever I go, whether it's a church, a community center, whether it's a school, a college, I'm specifically sharing my story, of overcoming cancer, because people need to hear, where you've come from. If you share my story as journalism, but when I share my own as a testimony.
Right, yeah.
And people need to be able to hear that you can come back from whatever circumstance that you face. Muhammad Ali said the canvas is no place for a champion. So just because you're knocked down doesn't mean you're knocked out. You can get back up again and get back in the fight.
Yeah.
So to let people know that you can come back from whatever disease or circumstance and obstacle is very important. And promoting that aspect of wellness and well-being and life and abundant living is very key, significant, and important. And so, you think about the word health. The first 4 letters is heal.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we have to take the time to heal from, as you alluded to, Tracy, what's eating us and what's going on the inside.
Yeah.
A lot of times, sometimes we're suffering from that which is psychosomatic. It's illness that begins mentally.
Yeah.
And so we have to be able to affect change spiritually, psychologically, socially, and emotionally, because it all speaks to the whole aspect of wellness and healthy living and lifestyle.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, the importance of health and nutrition. Dr. Eddie, speak on that.
It's so key and so important. You can go to the gym all day, but if you're eating Burger King and McDonald's, and if you're eating the foods that are just not going to sustain you, it's like a rat running on it's like a rat race. You're not making any forward progression. And so I think really health and nutrition is first a mental decision that you have to make.
Definitely.
Because you have to say to yourself, I've got to invest in myself and I have to love me. And I think when you love yourself on a greater level, you'll do better things for yourself.
Right.
And it begins with diet and exercise, and also even having individuals who are going to not be warriors but be warriors and actually help you to overcome what is going on. I think it's very significant, especially if you're working out and you're eating right, that you have a partner who you have somebody who you can be credible for. Somebody who's an accountability partner is very key and significant. So making sure that you're eating right every single day. One thing I know about me, and I do sometimes eat more of the Butterfingers and the blueberries and the strawberries.
Right.
But you have to take the time to eat those fruits and those vegetables.
Yeah.
And you have to take the time to stay a little bit off the chicken and the fried chicken.
This is true.
The collard greens, and macaroni and cheese, and all that.
All the good stuff. Right.
You just said somebody meal for the night.
Yeah, exactly. They like, oh, you crazy. It's Sunday, darling.
Okay.
We have it all
right
in.
now.
Right. And that's the thing.
The best Father's Day gift may not be a meal. It just may be you schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
That's true.
And that is so true.
Life.
Yeah.
If you love them, then you got to lead them in the right direction.
Yes.
Deal with health and nutrition and exercise is very important. 30 minutes a day at least.
Yeah.
You should be getting of exercise, and
that is so true. That is so true. My doctor always says, Tracy, get 150 minutes a week in. And it sounds, I'm like, ugh. And then she's like, well, if I break it down, that's 30 minutes a day. So thank you. Like, I know how to add, but it sounds so much better when she says 30 minutes a day rather than 150 minutes a week. It's that whole mind game we got to play with ourselves.
Just tell
like,
me.
Yeah. And I knew what she meant when she said it. The point is, just make sure at least 5 days a week you are 30 minutes doing something. And you can take the weekends off, but some doctors tell you now, just make sure every day you're doing something. Being active, getting up and walking around the office. A lot of times we have these jobs where we're sitting behind a computer, we're sitting down more than we're standing. Make it a point to stand up and walk around. Folks have these little gadgets now. I'm not going to shout anything out because I'm not endorsing them, but they have gadgets now that are tracking your steps. Get one of those and walk around. I know a lot of folks in our office and studio here do that, and if they see me walking around more than once, oh, Tracy, you getting your steps in? I said, well, not really, but since you mentioned it, okay. So definitely. Doing whatever you can to sneak it in. All right, Eddie, we have a couple more seconds left. What do you want to leave with our listeners? Encourage them to reach out to you. What do you want the last words to be?
Absolutely. I, of course, appreciate the opportunity every single time.
Always. Yes.
On this forum. Scripture says, Beloved, I wish that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So the whole aspect of health and well-being and loving yourself, knowing your worth, seeing your value, and investing in it is so key, significant, and important. You have to understand that you're a gift to somebody, and this is our time really to take our life to the next level and really begin to shed that and share it into the community. There's a quote that suggests real fathers make deposits so you can make withdrawals for the rest of your life.
Wow.
And so the whole aspect of fatherhood, and even if you're not a father, if you're a mentor, someone who understands that you have to step up in the lives of our young men and our young women in our communities, because a real man is one who uses God's manual to manage, maintain, and manifest his destiny. So I really want you to reach out to me. I'd love to come to your church, your community center, your school, your college, and really empower you. Got some books out there. My latest one, My Brother's Keeper. Every man needs that in his book, needs that book in his hand. And so it's a helping tool to really empower and encourage you. Go to the website, EddieConnor.com. The revolution will not only be televised, it'll be digitized. EddieConnor.com. Thank you all again.
All right.
Love it, Eddie.
All right, we'll talk to you again soon, sir. Have a great Sunday.
All right, you too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, we always love having Dr. Eddie.
Yes, Dr. Eddie Connor, he's a family member. He belongs on the show all the time.
Definitely. Always has something so insightful to share.